3C. Speaking. Pronunciation. Using contractions with will. Page 174.
When my children start school, they'll learn English. My children won't forget Maori because I'll speak it at home. Nickel, give me a nickel. What'll you do?
Okay, so when my children start school, they'll learn English, right? And what is they'll? They will. And my children won't forget Maori. What is won't? Will not, because I'll speak it at home. What is all? Huh? What will? I will. Good. In Taiwan, how do you say this? I'll. How did I just say it? How did I just say it? 我刚刚怎么说？ Oh, close. All. Alright. My pronunciation, exactly the same. Alright, so I'll read it one more time. My children won't forget Maori because I'll speak it at home. Because I'll speak it at home. Exactly the same as all the dogs are outside. Right? Exactly the same pronunciation. There are other words like this where in Taiwan you say it very different. For example, what is this? In Taiwan, it's the same, right? Yeah? So we have hour and hour. In America, what do we say? Close. R. This is our car. This is our car. Right? This is our car. This is our car. So there are lots of words like this that sound exactly alike. But in Taiwan, you teach them differently. Why do you teach them differently in Taiwan? Because you don't use your ears to learn. Because if you look at the books, and the books say the pronunciation for OU is ow, then this has to be hour. Alright? But is this correct? Is it incorrect? There's no standard to say if it's right or wrong, okay? Anyway, you're going to hear lots and lots of people say R for hour. One more, I just thought of it and then I forgot it. I don't know. Oh, okay. How do you say this? Hey? You're closer to what I would say, eh? In Taiwan, usually because you have UE and UE says you say sure or something like that. Sure or sure, right? So in Taiwan you have the sure and you have the sure. Usually you hear one of these two in Taiwan, right? In America we say sure. And I'll tell you a story. Did I tell you the story before? Probably not. The first time I came to Taiwan, I was here for 3 years before I went back home. So I hadn't spoken to like an American for a long time. I hadn't listened to Americans speaking for like 3 years. So I go back home and my dad and my brother pick me up from the airport. I'm sitting in the back seat and we're driving and my brother gets a call on his cell phone. And he says, hello, okay, sure, okay, sure. I thought, my brother can speak Chinese. Why did I never know? Because I've been in Taiwan for 3 years, only hearing people say sure or sure. And then my brother answered his phone and started saying sure. perfect Beijing dialect. In my mind, it was just very strange for that split second when I heard Chinese and tried to connect that with English. Yeah? So anyway, this is how we say this word in America, okay? At least where I'm from. So there are lots of words like this that have different pronunciations. So anyway, because I'll speak it at home, or because I'll speak it at home. Let's see what she says. What does she say?
Using contractions with will. Page 174.
When my children start school, they'll learn English.
Right? They'll learn English. Okay.
My children won't forget Maori because I'll speak it.
Because I'll speak it. So she's between I'll and all, right? I'll speak it.
They'll learn English. My children won't forget Maori because I'll speak it at home.
I'll speak it at home.
Nickel, give me a nickel.
Right? And the second one. Number 2, listen to the example on the second part here. What does she say? Nick. What is Nick? Somebody's name, right? Yes.
Because I'll speak it at home. Nickel, give me a nickel.
Nickel, give me a nickel. Exactly the same, right? Nickel, give me a nickel. When we speak, you can use a contraction anywhere. You can say, Jane will go home at 5 o'clock. You can say, the dog will eat its food when it gets home. You can use a contraction anywhere when you speak, but when we write, we don't write Jane apostrophe LL. We don't write dog apostrophe LL. We still write it out. You only write the contractions when? When do you write contractions? 什么时候写的? For example, you can write it here, right? But you're not going to write. That'd be very straight. So why can we write this, but we can't write this? Why? Usually we only write them, it says it right here. Usually we only write them after pronouns. So we have, you can write I'll, or you, or she'll, he'll, they'll, will. Okay? But we don't use them after a name, which is called a proper noun, or a regular noun. Okay? We usually only use them after pronouns. And I just realized these are probably different from what you. Yeah, all right, okay. How do you say that? Or I'll, yeah? If you ask me, if you wrote this down and said, how do you say it? 如果你写这样，然后问我，我会说 I'll。但是你把它放到句子里面就不一样。对，这是另外为什么台湾发音都是非常正确，因为是一个字一个字来学，不是一句一句来学。其实我昨天在想，如果是教1年级的小朋友，然后教他们算是很不标准的英文，会不会对他们以后很有帮助？You know what I mean? Because I was teaching 5th grade， 我在教5年级，然后我要教他们 I was teaching them what do you like to do, yeah? And all the kids in the class, what do you like to do? I was like, oh, this is terrible. And then I started to explain to them, okay, well, the two in Taiwan we say two, but in America we say te, or I guess in most places we say te. So then I was teaching them, what do you like to do? So I was teaching them like to do, like to do, like to play, like to read, like to write, like to listen to music, right? So then listen, so like to listen to music, like to listen to music, right? And then after I taught this, I thought, but do is the same thing, right? Because do, we don't say do we say the. So what do you like to do turns into what do you like to do? So at the end of class, I tried to get them to ask each other, what do you like to do? What do you like to do? What do you like to do? But they weren't used to saying it, right? If you taught first grade little kids, tell them to ask each other, because they don't know how to spell, right? So you don't have to worry about this. And you just teach them, what do you like to do? And they walk around, what do you like to do? What do you think? Would that help them later on? Or would it destroy any chance that they had of spelling English? I don't know. Anyway, I think it'd be a good experiment to try out. So anyway, we have I'll. If you say this one word, if you put it in a sentence, it'd be all. Right? I don't know what I'll do. I don't know what I'll do. Right? I don't know what I'll do. Next one. As one word, it's you'll, right? What happens if you put it in a sentence? Any idea? He said he didn't know what. He said he didn't know what. You'll do, right? So you as one word in a sentence would be you'll, right? You'll. I have bad news, but I don't want to tell you because I don't know what you'll do. What you'll do. What you'll do, right? So if you put a what in front of it, then the T plus the Y turns into ch, right? What you'll do. I don't know what you'll do. This one. Sorry, I thought this was going to be very easy and very fast. And then, right, what's this? One word. She'll, right? She'll. In a sentence, I don't know what. She'll. Right? I don't know what she'll do. He'll. Put it in a sentence. I don't know what. I don't know what. I want to see who's going to say whole. I don't know what whole do. He'll. I don't know what he'll do. Right? I don't know what he'll do. Next one. One word. Wheel. Right? Wheel. If you say this as one word, it's the same as this. Wheel. Alright? But put it in a sentence. Right? Same as will, right? And heal, as one word, would be heal, right? Next one. They'll. Put it in a sentence, turns into, I don't know what. They'll do. I don't know what they'll like. I don't know what they'll do. What they'll do. What they like. What they'll be okay, right? What they'll do. What they'll do. And sing it. Okay? Yay! We found out that doesn't change. Alright? So what they'll do. This one doesn't change too much. The rest of them change a bit. Alright, so nickel, give me a nickel. Nickel and nickel are exactly the same. Right? Nickel, give me a nickel. The second one here. The contraction LL is usually written only after pronouns. Even when the full form will is written, it's still pronounced as a contraction. So even if you write, what will you do, we would say, what will you do? Right? What will you do? And listen to the next one.
Page 174. Exercise 1. 1. When I have children, I'll make sure they speak Maori.
Ha ha! I didn't lie. What did he say?
2. When they go to school, they'll study only English.
Hey, stop! Stop!
2. Children, I'll make sure they speak Maori.
What do you say? I'll make sure. Right?
Page 174. Exercise 1. 1. When I have children, I'll make sure that...
I'll make sure, okay? So it says the all here. Like, I'll make sure.
1. When I have children, I'll make sure they speak Maori.
I'll make sure.
2. When they go to school, they'll study only English.
They'll study, right? So there you can't really change it very much. They'll study English.
3. If you go to Greenland, you'll hear 2 languages.
You go to Greenland, you'll hear 2 languages.
3. If you go to Greenland, you'll hear 2 languages.
You'll hear
4. If the language dies, the culture won't survive.
Everybody knows all, yes.
5. In 2100, there won't be as many languages as now. 6. In the future, many children won't speak the same languages as their grandparents.
They get more, so no problem. Any questions? Yes. Oh, okay. It is what? What are my 2 rules? Sticky vowels and hanger rule. So it turns into what? It. But after your it, you have another sound. So you can't just say it all. You say so T turns into a duh, into a D, right? So it turns into it'll. Okay, it'll. Yes. Yes. This one here. Oh, how do you say that? Okay, this is heel. 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 What is it? E? What is it? I? E 比较前面 ，I 比较后面一点。E 是这个，E 就是讲这个字，哎，E 哦，所以如果单独讲一个字就是 E 哦，然后这个就是跟这个一模一样啊。Here is ill, ill, same as it. The difference between it and e. So here's it, e, it, e, it, e, it, e. Heel, 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 heel. 那个 e 就是比较用力吧。喂，有关系。No more? All right. On page 162. The topic today is endangered languages, right? Endangered languages. What does that mean? Yeah, if you lose, maybe your first language, but if you lose it, it's nobody's first language. Okay? So if you lose a language because nobody speaks it anymore. And since we're all teachers and we're all English teachers, this is something that more or less, we have to think about this to some extent. Because we are part of the problem. Why are we part of the problem? Because we teach a foreign language to kids in Taiwan, right? Since we teach English and the kids have to learn English, that means they have less time to learn other languages that they would otherwise speak. For example, Taiwanese. But Taiwanese, I think, is pretty safe for right now, right? Because lots of people still speak Taiwanese. But there are lots of other smaller languages in Taiwan that may be more in danger, of being lost, right? So something to think about today while we're discussing all these things. I'm going to give you a couple minutes to talk about these questions on the top of the page. After you talk about these, we're going to have some people come up and give 1-minute speeches. Right? So 1-minute speeches about these questions, right? To introduce yourself to these questions. So number 1, what is your native language? Okay, native language is your first language. In Taiwan, you always call it your mother tongue. Right? In China, they also call it mother tongue because of Chinese. Right? So native language and mother tongue are the same thing. Number 2, how many languages do you speak? Everybody at least 2, maybe 3, 4, 5, right? Number 3, do you speak the same language as your parents? In America, this is a very different thing, right? Because if you're Mexican and you move to America and you don't teach your kids Spanish, then the kids don't speak the same language as their parents, right? In Taiwan, I think it happens with Hakka and Taiwanese. Especially if a Hakka person marries a Taiwanese person and then they say, I don't know why, do Hakka hate Taiwanese people or something? Because every time I hear about a Hakka person and a Taiwanese person getting married, they say, oh, to avoid conflict, we just say there's no Hakka and no Taiwanese. We only speak. I don't know the history. I think there's something there that I'm not aware of. And number 4, do you speak the same language as your grandparents? Right? There's probably more of a chance that you have a different there. Number 5, what languages do you think the children in your family will learn? Do you want them to learn a different language? Do you want your kids to be able to speak Ame? Or do you want your kids to be able to speak, some of the smaller languages that are quote unquote less important? Okay? And more Spanish or German or French or something like that. Number 6, what is the official language of your country? That is very easy. If we were teaching in America and there were people from 10 different countries here, then that would be something else to discuss. Alright, so I'll give you 2 minutes. 2 minutes to talk very quickly. If you have any questions, raise your hand and ask. And then we do 1-minute speeches. Alright, go. 2 minutes. Any questions you can ask now.
Dictionary 是台湾
Dialect. Right.
We
I mean the Taiwanese dialect.
Taiwanese
Dialect.
dialect.
Right.
Do we often say that?
Dialect. Yes. Basically what you have is you have a language which is more like we call it a language family. So Chinese has lots of different languages inside. Each of the languages inside Chinese is a dialect of Chinese. I don't know what the Chinese is, but 自语言，类似自语言。 对对对，中文是很大，然后有广东话，有台语，有什么什么的语，然后广东话里面也有很多，就是小小的变化，所以广东话里面也有很多广东话的 dialect， 所以广东话是国语的自语言，然后什么广州话是广东话的自语言，哎，所以就是越来越细的。Right. Would be a dialect of Taiwanese. If you look at the map, I put a map on the Facebook. Usually the most distinct is Midwest, South, and California are fairly different, right? And then the East Coast has its own thing. So South, Midwest, West, and East. Okay. 其实北方也是有那个加拿大的，有加拿大的。Introduce your language background. 你的语言背景 your language background.
They didn't know what I'm looking for sometimes. And I speak three languages: Chinese, Taiwanese, and English. And I think I will teach my children, my family, Taiwanese, because I think Taiwanese is something special for us. And I also teach them English because it is important too. Thank you.
Usually I don't write stuff on the board, but if you say not so, what? I speak Taiwanese, but not so, yeah, should be not so well. But most people, including me, often say not so good. Like me, when I'm talking to myself, I'll say, oh yeah, I can't do it so good. I mean I can't do it so well. So I have to stop and think and you know the difference? Okay, what is the difference? Yeah, good is an adjective which is used for nouns. Alright, and well is a adverb which is used for verbs. And in Chinese, adverb and adjective are both so it makes it even more confusing. 如果是名词就是 good, 如果是动词就是 well. So you can say, I can speak Taiwanese well. My Taiwanese is good. Right? Exactly the same meaning, but you use a different word for it. It's confusing. So, this one, Celia. Yeah. My Taiwanese is not so good. It's you'll mess up a million times, but slowly it'll get better and better. Same for us. You just keep making mistakes and then you start thinking about it. So, good job. Alright, next one, Leah. When I went to university, because I was so busy. Okay, very good. This one, Steven. Oh.
一阵刺激，你这样吓到
哎，Steven 是这样 ，Richard。
My native language is Hakka, and I need I don't know in English but how to say Hakka. 客家人主要是在英语就是Hakka，客家的Hakka。对，I will talk the Hakka to with my parents and with my kids. But when I was in college, I didn't enjoy it, and I always speak Taiwan part. So my Taiwanese is so my Taiwanese is what is so good. So many people think my voice sounds not good. 那他不会认为这些动物发音吗？
My Taiwanese is so good that my Taiwanese is so good that most people think I am
real Taiwanese.
in America we say a southerner. Southerner means somebody from Texas, Mississippi, Louisiana, something like that. We say a southerner. So people thought that I was a southerner. People thought that I was a southerner. Or you can also say just a southern. Southern Taiwanese would be okay. Southerner is okay. Okay, very good. And Steven.
Yes.
安奏。
按奏没有？
哎。
按奏。搞炸，跟你炸，
In my office, they always practice Hakka speech competitions. So all day I listen to kids speaking bad Hakka every day, all day. Not bad Hakka, but not very fluent Hakka. So anyway, the Taiwanese or the Hakka teacher always tries to speak to me in Taiwanese. So now when I go to my office, I have to say "Anzo." All right, next one, Cassie.
Okay, good morning. My native language is Chinese, but I have to, because my grandparents live in the country and they speak Taiwanese. So when I went to see my grandparents, I had to learn to speak Taiwanese with them. So at first it's very difficult for me because Taiwanese is totally different from the Chinese. So I have to learn. And my mom told me every time and say, 老炸, like this. Okay. And then when I was in the kindergarten, my kindergarten is a multicultural place because some of my classmates are from different countries. They are from Japan and Europe and America. So I can listen to many kinds of language. I said, wow, it's so wonderful because people can speak different kinds of language, but you have only one mouth. Okay, thank you.
It was very difficult. I don't remember what you said. Yeah, at the end. But at the beginning, you said it was very difficult to learn Taiwanese. Yeah, and in the kindergarten, no, that. So in kindergarten. Yeah. Okay, very good. Sophie. But they want to learn. But what will you speak to them?
Maybe Chinese, Cantonese, and
But usually you speak one, right? What would be your main language at home?
maybe
Chinese. So not Taiwanese.
maybe talk to their grandparents.
Okay. Thank you. And Amber.
Hello, my dear teacher and my dear friends. When my parents were 15 years old, I was born. Just so you know, about 65 years ago, Taiwan was belong to Japan. So my parents liked Japan. They liked Taiwan, but they liked Japan too. So especially my father, he always teach me, you have to say, if at night, I have to speak Japanese, konbanwa, and sumimasen, or arigatou gozaimasu. But I don't like Japanese in my childhood because I feel they are too serious. They work. I don't like. But I like American or England because they were active. You know, I were a kid. I don't like work. I like. So Taiwanese and Chinese were my mother tongue. I feel.
So do you speak Japanese fluently?
Because I didn't like to learn. So
Okay.
today I learned and tomorrow I forget.
Okay, good. And you say you have to speak Japanese at night, or speak Japanese
in
at
the
night.
morning, 然后 in the afternoon, in the evening, at night.
Oh, you have to speak Japanese all day?
我爸爸都会教我一整天的日常对话，早安，
Okay.
早安，午安，晚安。
妈妈
喜欢，所以我就学了就好。连洗手都要讲日语。
Really? Okay. Do you regret it now? Do you regret not learning Japanese?
No.
后悔没有认真学吗？
Yes.
Yeah.
长大以后，就是我觉得。
Oh, if I could only speak Japanese. Like, good, thank you. And Dora.
Morning.
Morning.
Because when I was young, I listened many Guangdong songs. I get a lot of confused with the song. So from that time, my Taiwanese get poor. I started to speak Chinese. I can listen Taiwanese, but I can listen Taiwanese and understand the meaning. I spoke Chinese to my parents and my grandparents spoke Taiwanese. So I spoke Chinese to them. They responded me in Taiwanese.
And how do you say 广东话? Cantonese. The most cities in China, their English name is their Chinese name. But Guangzhou is called Canton. I don't know why. Maybe the Cantonese name is that. So anyway, Guangzhou is Canton, so the language is Cantonese. Cantonese. And my Taiwanese got, we usually say it got worse. It got worse. In China and in Taiwan, everybody says poor. My Chinese is very poor, or my English is very poor. Foreigners very rarely say my something something is poor. You usually say my Chinese isn't very good, or my Chinese is terrible, or something like that. And we don't say poor very often. It's a Chinese Taiwanese thing. I'm not sure why. Wait, 你说京都。Parents, what's wrong? Over there? They're here, no? Because it should be since, alright? If you put it at the beginning of a sentence, you say, since my parents spoke Taiwanese, I speak Taiwanese too. You understand? Since my parents speak Taiwanese, I speak Taiwanese. 然后中间没有东西。Or you can say, my parents, no. I speak Taiwanese because my parents speak Taiwanese. 然后前面没有东西。Okay? So since my parents, my parents speak Taiwanese is the reason, right? Since the reason, the result. Since my parents speak Taiwanese, I speak Taiwanese. Or you can say, result, I speak Taiwanese because the reason. 这是中文的，跟中文有冲突的一个文法的非常好的文法。Right? So I speak Taiwanese because my parents speak Taiwanese. Understand? 如果是用 since 是 since， 然后原因，然后结果。那如果要用 because 是放在中间，然后是结果 because 原因。可是中文 since 跟 because 都是因为啊，所以这是语言的一个问题。And I speak English very. I speak is a verb, right? I speak English very well. My English is very good, right? And another problem. I learned English hard. 太台湾的教育的这个幼儿教育的部分，就是因为这句话。It means to try hard, to try hard. This is, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. But here, what is learn? 学习. And what is the other word for 学习? Study. So what is the difference between study and learn? The same? No, very different. I studied Japanese for 3 years, but I cannot speak Japanese. I studied very, very hard for 3 years. I bought books and I sat at home and I read and I tried to remember them and I studied for 3 years, but I never learned Japanese. So what's the difference? Yeah, learn is the result. Study is the process. Another way to, well, not necessarily though. You can learn something without studying it. And you can study something without learning it. I studied Japanese without learning Japanese. I learned Chinese, but I never studied. So what's the difference? 这个我想很久。我一来台湾一开始学的时候，因为会遇到这个问题啊，要怎么翻译才比较正确？习得，哎 ，so learn is 学会 ，study is 学习啊。So 我学会中文根本没有打开过书。Not 100%, but pretty much. Because I learned Chinese by talking to people and listening and going to the night market and blah, 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 blah. I studied Japanese by looking at books and trying to remember the words and everything. 所以我学习学得很认真 right? 那为什么这个台湾教育？因为有一个研究说，6岁以下是最好学外国语言的这个时期，所以在台湾，他们翻译过来的时候，应该是翻译成，所以6岁之前是黄金学习语言期 study， 所以他们在幼稚园。给他们背很多单字，给他们认很多字，给他们写很多东西什么的，变成英文都变成课本化。But the original research said 6 years or less is the best time to learn a language. But learning you don't have to do from a book. You can do it from lots of different kinds of stuff. Right? 因为台湾是读书的文化，所以就马上换成 study。了解意思吗？可是应该是 learn 啊。那 learn 小孩子 learn 应该是玩游戏、唱歌、跳舞啊，做一些活动什么的。可是变成台湾都是一直看书一直看啊。喂，那个 Mandy Tsai。
My first language is Taiwanese, and I talk to my parents in Taiwanese and sometimes use Chinese because my parents they can understand and they can speak Chinese. So both languages I use to talk to them. But I have to talk Taiwanese with my grandparents because they only understand Taiwanese. I read book for my son in Chinese because usually the books is writing in Chinese. But sometimes I speak in Chinese or English, but my husband will translate into Chinese. Next time my son will they're happy and they will like laughing because Taiwanese combination is very interesting. And
sometimes my husband likes to listen to Korean song. So we will play Korean song in car. Then my son can sing Korean. So children is a very intelligent language.
Good. Good. Mandy. Wait a minute. Good job. And Eva.
我们暂时。
Hello everyone. My first language is Chinese, and from now on I can speak three languages: Chinese, Taiwanese, and English. My parents they speak Chinese, so I talk to them in Chinese. My grandparents and some of my relatives they speak Taiwanese, so I learned how to speak Taiwanese when I was little because I spent a lot of time with them. And the children in my family, I think he will learn three languages: Chinese, Taiwanese, and English. And I hope he can learn other different kind of language, for example, like Spanish, because I think Spanish is very useful when you travel around. It's a bad story. And
Okay. Okay. Hey, what do I think? Okay. And one thing, which is not just your issue, but instead of saying English, try to make it two sounds. English. The G and L are hard to put together, but try to say English. English instead of English. And last one, Mandy Leo.
My native language is Taiwanese, but my Taiwanese is not well. But I spoke the Taiwanese with my grandparents. I needed to use some bloody language. Because I didn't speak another language, Chinese. They didn't understand what I told about. So when I spoke with Glenn, I used the body language to express my something. I can speak the four languages: Taiwanese, Chinese, English, and a little Japanese. I learned the Japanese because I love the Japanese culture. I think the new language is very difficult because you have to spend much time to learn the new language. But I think when you learn the new language well, you will feel that you will be good because you can see another language.
And my English is very good. My English is very good. I speak English very well. I just keep going over and over. And I can't express my No, I thought I heard something. No? Okay, you can say I can't express my ideas is okay, or if you don't know what to say, you just say I can't express myself. It's okay too. Myself is good enough. And I spend much time. I spend a lot of time. Okay, a lot of time. Usually much and many, not 100%, but much and many are usually used for questions. How much or how many? If it's not a question, it's always safer to say a lot of. How much money do you have? I have a lot of money. How many cats do you have? I have a lot of cats. So much and many usually for questions. It's okay, grammatically it's okay to say I have many dogs or I have many pencils. But we don't say that. We just say I have a lot of pencils. We don't say I have many pencils. Right? 文法上是应该可以的，可是不会常听到，我们不常这么说。Alright, any questions? No questions? 5-minute break? A real 5-minute break? Not a 5-minute break, it's really a 20-minute break? A real 5-minute break, real 5-minute break.